So, Johnjay, you mentioned there was breaking news, and it is official. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are getting divorced. I can hear the reaction in Hollywood now.
And I was just like, no!
Basically.
Man, I hope Jennifer Aniston gets divorced. I hope her and Brad Pitt get back together.
Isn't that the first thing you thought of? Oh, man.
So I guess Angie's the one who filed the paperwork, and everyone's going, okay, who cheated? You know what I mean? Like, who's this third person? But according to sources, there's no third person. She filed the paperwork because she and Brad Pitt could not agree on parenting methods. She apparently didn't like how he was parenting the kids. This is an agreement they could not come to. They could not come to, I guess a cooperation situation or something like that. And so she filed paperwork. She has asked for physical custody of the couple's kids. They've got 6 kids together. They, if you guys remember, I think they got together in 2004 and they got married in 2014. So they've only been married for 2 years. 10 years after being together, they finally got married. But we found out it was mostly because the kids were pressuring them.
They've figured out what marriage is now. They're old enough, so now they but we're still convinced that half of them just want to party. They've heard there's good cake.
Good cake.
So are they getting divorced, like, on paper and staying together? Or are they getting divorced, like, she wants custody, right? Like you said, she wants, it's like real.
She's like, you can have visitation, Brad Pitt, but I'm having full custody of the kids.
Brad Pitt on the loose.
Yes, and you guys have heard this name in Hollywood, divorces before. Laura Wasser, or however you say her name. She is Angelina Jolie's lawyer, and she's like a killer. So I don't know, like, is this a normal thing? Like, I don't like how you're parenting our kids, so I'm just going to take them. Is that going to work?
You would think that you would talk about that before you have kids. And then on paper, if I look at their relationships on paper and their history, I would kind of go with the way Brad Pitt's family was raised and the way Brad Pitt was raised versus the way Angelina Jolie was raised.
Midwest roots, like parents are still cool. Goes to visit his mom in the middle of Missouri, like good, solid peeps.
Yeah, she doesn't talk to her dad. Her dad doesn't know anything about what's going on in her life. She was brought up in Hollywood, moving around everywhere. It was just a miserable childhood.
I mean, they chose her for that movie Girl Interrupted just because that's the way she was, not because she was that good of an actor.
So let's take Hollywood into account here for a second. When you are as powerful as Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and you know that this news is about to go public because you are filing legal documents, do you think this, quote unquote, Angelina was extremely upset with how his methods were with the kids? Is that a distraction from a possible affair? Or is it like, that's the way it is, and that's what's coming out? Okay. Because what does that mean? She was extremely upset with his methods. Like, he always seemed like a pretty good dad.
Midwest, you do something wrong, you get spanked with a belt or something. Maybe she's like, hey, we don't do that. You get timeouts. I mean, who knows?
It could be anything in Hollywood.
Let me ask you this. If you're Jennifer Aniston and you're hearing this news, how do you feel? Are you excited? Karma goes around. I knew it was going to happen, after the way because her breakup with him was ugly, right?
Right. If it were me, I would be like,
that's no more. You don't get any more?
You don't get any of my time. You don't get my...
But would you call this, if you're Jennifer Aniston, and I have a feeling she's probably above this, or maybe not, but are you kind of like, using that karma train, are you glad? Finally, I knew it. I knew it was going to come back. Do you know what I mean? So
I think there's got to be a little piece of her that knew this wasn't going to work out at some point.
But at what point is it, because it didn't work out? I mean, they were together 14 years. So did it really not work out? I mean, that's a successful marriage in Hollywood.
They have great kids.
In Hollywood.
Right. So, do you get what I'm saying? So if you are her, are you like, I knew it finally? Yes.
A decade and a half later.
I think you want to be above it, but I think part of you is going,
right.
And she's happily married
like
now.
the new iPhone 7.
Exactly. So that's huge news right now. I'm sure as, we learn more about it, different sides of the story will come out, but that's what you need to know right now because that's like blowing up everywhere.